Hello, my name is Simon Franglen.
Yeah, we know.
Nice to meet you.
I write music for film.
Welcome.
I will not go deep into Doctor Who with you, I promise.
I have my grandmother knitted me Tom Baker was my doctor. So I had my grandmother knit me a 6-foot long scarf. I did wear a hat. I had a whole thing.
We could go into the weeds for Doctor Who. I've been starting, so my first question I've been asking everyone is, at what point in the process do you want to be brought in?
I was brought in before we started on A2 and 3.
Oh, before, okay.
So in December 2017, I'd finished the theme park. So James Horner died in 2015, and I was producing the music for the theme park. He'd written some themes. They asked me to finish the theme park, but Pandora won't let me. And I finished that in the summer of 2017. December 2017, Jim says, "Hey, come and read these scripts." So I read the scripts for 2, 3, 4, and 5.
Wow.
So yes.
And do you prefer getting in the window right away? Or?
Yeah, absolutely.
Because a couple of the other guys have been talking about how they want to see it on screen to kind of get the emotion of what the scene is, to kind of work that way.
I wrote, as the opening of A3, I wrote off the script. The arrival of the Talcoon in A2, I wrote off the script. Literally, what you hear in the film, with a couple of timing issues just to adjust for some of the cuts, I wrote specifically based on what I could hear reading the script. And so when you see, there's a cue called the arrival of Talcoon in Avatar 2, which is when the whales suddenly arrive as a big tune. That came to me close to fully formed just reading. And there's a thing, the opening of A3. Similarly, I read it and I never saw the scene. I wrote a piece of music and with a few cuts to make the timing and different things. It is basically what I wrote in 2018 on that and so once I'd written it, I had to know what was happening in 5 because of something. There are Easter eggs in 2, 3, and there's Easter eggs. You'll see Easter eggs that will appear, and in 5 you will understand why they are where they are and what they might be doing. And that was important for him to me. Because also the other thing is he wanted me to understand the arc of the story, because that is, he wants a score. The score on an Avatar film has 2 real important things to do. One is obviously you have to emotionally connect, and you want to bring that emotional arc underneath the characters. That's true of any score in any film. But the other thing is it's there to give you a sense of place of time. That you want that sense of that you are on an alien planet. And therefore there are textures and flavors. For instance, on Avatar 3, the Wind Traders, I designed instruments that I sketched them out because I wanted to sketch out instruments for a 3 meter tall, 10-foot high blue alien with 3 fingers, right? Because why would they play something like weird? And so I sketched out these instruments that I wanted to make. Dylan Cole, the production manager, and the production department turned them into beautiful pictures. They then 3D printed them for me, and I used them in the score. So there are 3D printed Pandoran instruments that are part of the score for Avatar 3.
That's cool. When you built those instruments, were you imagining, are they string, are they wind?
It's all of those things. You look at what materials might be available. I'll give you an example on 2. The Metcaina village, which is the sea village that we visit. So in Avatar 1, my job was the non-orchestral side of it. James wrote the beautiful themes and the orchestra. I gave the textures and the rhythms and the things. And one of the things, I looked at the glowing forest and thought that was like gamelan. It was like the sense of bells growing. But there was a texture for that glowing forest. Whereas when we look at the Met inner village in 2, I realized that things like rhythm, right? I changed all the rhythm things to be either clay or bamboo or wood because that's what's available on the seashore. So I transformed the instruments into a different set of instrumentations. When I'm using things for the RDA, for the baddies, they don't use drums that sound like that. They are much more hybrid, electronic almost. There is a reason that I'm using obviously, but there is a reason I use things to give you that sense of place and time in terms of textures as well. Because you want to feel something is different. If you listen when you're in the RDA's headquarters, there's a lot more synthetic textures. No organic things. I never use flutes. I never use voices for the RDA ever. There's all of this stuff is always the antithesis of warmth and organic. And that's a conscious decision I made to give you that sense. This is the death of the natural world. This is the natural world against the technology of the RDA. And we already know from A1, have already made a mess. So humanity has made a mess of planet Earth. We know that. And they're trying to come and make a mess of Pandora. And I wanted to make sure that you always feel that musically, and that because music has this phenomenal thing of triggering emotion and also triggering memories. And my job is to make sure that you have those memories triggered throughout.
Hello, Simon. You are working closely with James Horner and no James Cameron. What are the differences in collaborating with each? Sorry, which has the difference to collaborate with James Cameron or James Horner?
James Horner was one of my best friends.
Okay.
So I first worked with him on Titanic in 1997. And then I stopped doing movies for a while in the 2000s. He called me and said, come and have a look at
Nice.
5 minutes of Avatar. James Horner was a huge influence on me, obviously, and I'm very proud to be able to continue the journey.
Yes.
I'm very, he died just over 10 years ago. I think James was entirely emotional about the way he wrote music, and Jim is much more. The thing is, Jim absolutely loves music. Just adores music, and he loves what music does. He understands how it works. Let's remember Terminator. We all can think about the dum-dum as well, right? It doesn't need to be a big orchestral score, although Titanic. It's that he understood the power of music in terms of memory and in terms of what you can do visually. And James and he had known each other for so long because they were both. Jim was art director for Roger Corman. And James' first score was with Roger Corman, and they met when they were in their 20s. Battle Beyond the Stars. And I think there's always your memory of somebody is often the first thing when you first meet them, when you first knew them. I think Jim and James together were like two 25-year-olds.
Nice.
Now that did mean that it was not always plain sailing, as we all know, that there were some legendary fallouts. And Jim is extremely demanding. But I think James, I think what was trying, I think that James brought a warmth and a humanity to Avatar, and I hope that. I think also that he's been a huge influence also on the fact that Jim understands that he allows me to write themes because he's always seen what a theme can do, both on Titanic and Avatar 1.
Yes.
And I think that I would say that the heritage in terms of they are very different to work with.
Yes.
James would allow. James was there saying to me, "Let me just." He would say, right, "Here's this theme, and where do we take it? How do we? What can I do?" My job was to build you that sense of Pandora and the sense of the rhythms and stuff. So hopefully that answers the question.
Thank you perfectly. Thank you.
Yeah. Is there any other questions?
No, it's okay.
We got the wrap up sign.
We say just stop.
We'll keep talking if you want to keep talking.
I'm sorry. Did I answer the question?
Yes, perfectly.
Okay.
I'm Boris from Moldaville.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
Yes.
Given how much of the Avatar films happen in post that you can't see until much later in the process, does anything change for you later on in the workflow?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, every day is Christmas. So when I'm working, I'm basically, initially we have a thing called template, which is like sort of what, compared to Avatar 1 and Avatar 3, Avatar 3 template is almost as good as Avatar 1, right? That level thing. So when the actors are acting, we can see them moving as the Na'vi live, so they can actually see how they are.
So it's like kind of previds.
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely, but it's live previds.
Oh, wow.
It's happening in live in
As
real
they
time.
act, okay.
As they act,
Wow.
in real time it happens. But then you see the thing is that we have this amazing thing, which is that Jim reshoots the film after he shot the film. Because we have, there's two parts to this. One is the capture and then the edit. But then they build a 3D world and he can put the camera anywhere in that 3D space. So I can be talking to you here. Yeah. The camera is at my shoulder looking at you. Jim, in 2 years' time, can decide actually the camera's over there in the corner and it's got a zoom lens and it's night. And he can change any of those things. And they had a fabulous thing, which I always love, is spotting. Sorry, no, scouting. Scouting, when they're scouting locations. Now, if you're Jim Cameron, that means move that mountain over there. Literally, they build the set and he can actually move things live until he gets to the point where he's got the set. Wait, they are scouting the location and they do this thing where they are constructing this thing. And for me, like for instance, I get to see, it was the first day I saw a sketch of I knew what the Talcum were going to be like because I'd also done some research with the Scripps Institute about whale song and how they generate whale song using internal bladders and pressure valves. So I knew roughly, but then there was this, when we saw the first visualization, you go, it's like astonishing, and those are the things, that's what happens. Every day there are new things, and I promise you, this one is going to blow your mind.
Wow.
Great.
Yeah.
Simon, thank you so much.
Thank you.